Hello class, this is a video tutorial on describing translations. Now just as a reminder, if you haven't yet seen the previous videos on this, when we apply any translation, the direction can only be one of the following: up, down, left, or right. And a translation involves a number or a magnitude of movement. So I'm going to first show you this using this first example, and after this you can try yourself to describe them. So here we have example 1. Example 1. To know where a translation was at first, remember that a dash means something, a translation, has been applied to it, which means this shape here is the initial shape, and this is where it would have ended. So we can easily see the translation here by counting how many spaces are between where we start and where we end. Let's just begin counting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we can test that between every corner from where it started to where it ends. So let's test if that's 6 from A to A. Let's test if it's the same from C to C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's test finally for B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So for example 1, the translation that we are looking for is, it is a translation right, and that was by 6 spaces. Whoops, running out of space. Right, 6 spaces, or you could write it as a translation of 6 right. So either one of these is perfectly acceptable. So you're saying 6 spaces to the right, or it's a translation of right 6 spaces. Either way, these descriptions say the same thing. Let's get into the next example. I'd like for you to give this a go and try yourself. However, keep in mind looking at the letters where they start and where they end. You can pause the video here now and see if you get it right. I'm going to give you the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. If you guessed that this is where it started and this is where it's ending, you are actually incorrect, because H, well, these letters here do not have any dashes on them, which must mean this is where it ended and this is where it started. So looking at our start point, we can count to our end points. Let's count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 once again. Let's double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And as we've seen previously, it's very obvious that we can see that there's a translation of 6 on all 4 corners. So we can write that this is a translation left of 6 spaces. Or you can write it as a translation 6 left. Let's move right along to the next example. This one, I want you to look very carefully now, because there's actually two movements here to achieve this seemingly diagonal direction. I'm going to pause the video again and I want you to give this one a go. Let's give you the answer in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Once again, we can see that this must be where we start and this is where we end. And how we can figure out the two directions, well, we can see either it goes right and then down, or down first and then right. So it's either going to be a translation. I'm going to leave the number first. It's going to be some number to the right, and then some number down. Or it can be the other way around, or it'll be a translation some number down and then some number right. I'm going to show you how we can do this. Let's go with this one first. Let's just go with this possibility. Let's see how many spaces it goes right. The way we can do that is we can focus on one letter at a time. N to N, we can sort of draw a little dotted line there and see where this point must be. So we can count now from where N is here to there. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So that must be 3 spaces to the right. So it's 3 right. And then from this very same point, we can count how many spaces it has moved down. So from here, remember this is N to N. N to N. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces down. Now, had you done this the other way around, where you counted this way first and then the right, it would have to be the exact same. So we can count here. So you can see that N is the point here. So we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 3 spaces right. 1, 2, 3. So it could either have been 6 down, 3 right, or 3 right and then 6 down. One last example for everyone here. I want you to go ahead, give this one a go once again. I'm going to pause the video for you to try. Example 4. Here's our answer in 3, 2, 1. This time it's clear that this is where we begin because these have no letters. But if we had to match where A is here, where would A be in this shape? Well, A is in the bottom left here, which must mean this point here is A prime or A dash. And we can use this point and this point to figure out what the translation is. In the same way that we did in the previous one, we find the point where it must have moved first, and we can count how many spaces it is from here to that point there. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it is a translation of 7 up, and then from here we can count 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 up and then 4 left. And just as in the previous one, it could have been left first and then left first and then up. So this could have been a translation of 4 left and then 7 up. Either way, they would have been correct. So I hope this gave you an insight into how to describe the translation of shapes. Best of luck to you all, and see you in the next one.